Hello and welcome everybody, hope that you're good, and today we're going to be talking about Zorua in the game, namely because in the Halloween event of 2024 it has a perma boost, so it's a really good opportunity to go and get a shiny one and keep checking it with boosted spawns. However, there are a few tricks that you can keep up your sleeve when it comes to catching Zorua, or rather encountering it. Namely, the first one is to get Zorua to appear as Zorua on the overworld map, rather than transform into your buddy Pokemon. There are a couple of tricks you can do for this one, but there is a trick to guarantee potentially an XXL Zorua, and that involves having a extra large Pumpkaboo as your buddy. I've got a hundo that I got, I think, either last year or in 2022 with the costume. This is an XXL, and it should mean these are two Zoruas because I've had them verified. These should be potentially some XXL Zoruas, and this apparently is the only way that you can kind of guarantee you're going to get that catch. So let's put that to the test right now because I've never given it a go. Oh, it's Zorua, obviously could be shiny. Let's see if it is. It is not shiny, but will that be an XXL? It is an XXL right there. It's not the biggest one we've ever seen, but theoretically, this means you can guarantee getting an XXL. This is a tiny one, unfortunately. Actually, this would be very interesting. It's showing as a tiny when it should be a large. So let's see what's going to happen with this one. Is it going to be a tiny Pumpkaboo turning into an XXL Zorua? It's not shiny, but what will that gauge? Bang, it's an XXL. So it doesn't matter what it actually shows you on the actual encounter with your buddy Pokemon, whether it goes it's tiny, it's a normal size, or it's a huge one. The Zorua will be an XXL if you have an XXL, particularly Pumpkaboo, as your buddy. We will trial and test it with an XXL hundo of something else during the course of this video. The tricks of how to get Zorua to appear on the overworld as the Pokemon itself and avoid transformation, we'll talk about that in a little bit because we're going to put down daily adventure incense and see if we can pull in anything interesting today. Let me know in the comments below if you've given this a go, either one or two of these tricks, and hopefully if you haven't, you can do. While we're walking around with daily incense now down, and unfortunately I need more rare candies to actually get more Roar of Time, and I don't have any. There is a trick that has been active and trialed and tested since 2022. We actually used it to get 100% IV Zorua back 2 years ago. Have we got one off our incense? No, it's a Frillish, never mind. This involves, first of all, swapping buddies around, and what that does is essentially confuses Zorua so it doesn't know what to transform into. It's only a temporary kind of solution because after about 15-20 minutes the game catches up to what you're doing. So you note we've got the hundo Pumpkaboo as our buddy. What we're going to do now is switch it to our Cofregigas. I always like to just make sure that it is going to actually work. I'll quickly jump into the berry action. Give it a golden raspberry for good measure. Okay, so that will now appear as the buddy. And what we can do then is switch back. So I like to call it, buddy A to buddy B to buddy A again. If we see a Zorua, it appears as a Zorua. There you can see Zorua appearing as Zorua, which means you can actually shiny check it like that, which is great. Shame that isn't the sparkly one, but that's one way to get Zorua to appear on the overworld. Switch buddy A to buddy B, back to buddy A. That should get it to work like this. If it doesn't, you need to probably drop some berries down. That's another Zorua, love it, not shiny. What this does is it basically prevents the transformation, which actually randomizes the IV. So, if you do this, all players can catch the same IV Zorua, which honestly is a really good tip. That's how you can potentially get a 100%er for groups of people or a Nundo or something like that. Obviously extremely rare and unlikely. That's a 3-star one for me, not too bad. Now see, these aren't XXLs. Those two Zoruas aren't XXLs because I've done the buddy swap. Okay, Pumpkaboo has another golden Razdin. And we got ourselves an shiny Absol daily incense. Would you look at that? 1 in 64 ratio for that one. Zorua very well could be a 1 in 64 because this morning we did actually pick up a shiny Zorua. I can't demonstrate it because I couldn't get screen recording going, unfortunately. Right, let's see if we can get an XXL Zorua to spawn on the map. Here is another Zorua. I've actually already had to reset the buddy thing because it reset after like 10 minutes. So this isn't the most effective way, I would say, potentially getting yourself to have Zorua appear on the map. The other way that I've heard a lot of people using is obviously having Zorua as your buddy to start with, because if it's itself, it can't transform as itself 0-star and not shiny. This is like an info tips video along with a little bit of a vlog grind because I have some special research to do, daily incense, etc. But what we're now going to do is catch that daily incense graveyard, obviously. Check this Zorua that's not shiny for the sake of the video, and it's interesting noting that having done the buddy swap, it can't tell what's an XXL, obviously. So what we're going to do is, for the sake of this video, I don't have a decent XXL Zorua, so we're going to put one of the ones we caught just earlier today as our buddy and restart the game, and that should mean that Zorua appears as Zorua. Let's just choose the 691 that we got today, 692. In it goes is an XXL Zorua, and we're restarting the game just to make sure that it actually kind of clears what we've been messing around with. What I'm going to be interested to see is this going to mean that you not only have Zorua appearing, but will you also find XXLs? The grind is to try and fight one. There's an XXL Cherubi. By the way, here's the Zorua from this morning. It's the lightest one we've ever had, and it's horrendous stats, so close to a Nundo. Okay, it's our first attempt with Zorua as no buddy transformation, so 840 CP, obviously not shiny, but as you can see, just on the overworld like that. And you may have noticed something's happened. I hope it changes fairly soon, but there's an app update or force update or something, and basically it means that the game was crashing a lot for people, so that's why the Halloween decor has been removed, which is sad. See, it's not an XXL, so I think as far as it looks, you have to have a XXL Pumpkaboo to make the XXL thing work. So technically you can't have both tricks happening at the same time, so I guess you've got to choose, do you want XXL Zoruas with the shiny potential and the transformation, or do you want to have them appearing on the overworld? I'm going to run with the Zorua for a little bit. Love a double Zorua check. 1 not shiny and 397, and the second not shiny. I'm not 100% sure for this Halloween event. It could be a 1 in 64 boost. I think it might be more likely a 1 in 125. But I haven't checked the online stats of what people have been saying to make that a confirmation. I hope it's a 1 in 64 for this boost, because that would be exceptional. So I've actually swapped my buddy to a shiny Zorua, and a little while back there was a regular Zorua. In fact, there's one here on Incense, sparkly. Daily Incense shiny Zorua, but, and I'm doing this so that it sort of clarifies if anybody doesn't know, I think if you have a shiny Zorua as your buddy, it can transform from the shiny to the regular, which may be very amusing. No? Gotcha, was that actually a shiny Zorua? No, it wasn't, see? It hasn't transformed, but it wasn't a shiny, but it shows as a shiny on the overworld, which would have really helped me out with the thumbnail. Perhaps don't do that. If you want to know you've got a legit shiny Zorua, put a regular Zorua as your buddy. Don't put a shiny one in, because you're going to find out that they're not shiny even though they look like it. So that's kind of like reverse shiny check, which I find quite amusing, to be honest. But hey, I've sorted my thumbnail out, which is great. Hopefully that's helped debunk a few myths and tricks about Zorua in Pokemon Go, particularly with the Halloween event having them boosted in spawns and shinies. But before we finish up for the day, I want to check, oh dear God, a Ghastly, the Spiritomb free research for the Halloween event, not a shiny, 886, you are so close. I think that's a 98%er. Only it could have been a hundo. That would have been brilliant to add to the collection. And it's broken out. Let me know if you've bagged shiny Zorua, or if you're still hunting for it, because this is going to be one of the best opportunities to try and get it. Is it still not? Oh my days, it's still not catching. That's finally caught. Is it the 98er? Yes, it's a decent 98er. It's my best Spiritomb by a long way. In fact, there's another Zorua. Is it shiny? Let's find out. I know it's broken out. Okay, everything's being troublesome right now. If you want to get Zorua spawning on the map, you can put a regular Zorua as your buddy. Don't do the shiny one, as we've just demonstrated here. Regular Zorua as the buddy means that there's no transformation animation. That's going to be a lot easier than doing the buddy switch. The other thing, if you want to guarantee a XXL Zorua, as we demonstrated at the very beginning of the video, an XXL Pumpkaboo buddy is the only way to make sure that's a possibility. Before we end, we've just had something finally the right way around. Check out over here, we have got a Zorua on the overworld as a non-shiny, and it was actually a shiny. I don't know how I've done it, but for the last hour and a half or so, I have broken the buddy system. So I have Zorua regular, Zorua shiny, and Pumpkaboo XXL all spawning as Zorua. So I've broken the game somewhat, but that is a shiny Zorua. That is actually our 4th total and 3rd of this event, so I definitely see the shiny boost on this one. 1010 checks and we have our 4th shiny Zorua, so it means that possibly later on this week we can actually finally evolve a shiny one to Zoruark, which is lovely. But we're going to round out today, and I hope this was a useful video. Definitely let me know if you give these tricks a go. Get those XXL Zoruas caught, because they can be very handy for showcases, possibly in part 2 of the Halloween event. But thank you very much, as always, to the wonderful Patreon squad who are really the backbone and the reason we're able to continue doing what we do here, helping you guys with Pokemon Go, providing hopefully some entertainment along the way through live streams, live event travel, and some absolutely crazy stuff, i.e. Mankey Community Day. That will be announced very, very soon where we're going for that one. But I don't really know what else we're going to do. There is Gigantamax coming this weekend, so that hopefully will be a video popping up on Sunday, and I'm going to wish you all the very best of luck because there's loads of shiny potential still to go until we hit part 2, where the costume chase really kicks off. Thank you everybody who swung by Raid Hour as well. Really appreciate the support. And finally, if you enjoy what you've seen here, not only hit that subscribe button, but go and check out one of those 2 videos there on your screen, because there's so much more that you can continue to enjoy, not just from this year, but from past years as well. And there's still a lot of things in the works. So hopefully you can stick around, and I'll say until the next time, do take care.